Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's NXT review where we break down everything that happened on NXT and we pretty much just lay down our thoughts about it. We have a cup change. We even have a lot of stuff to dig into with Obafemi, JEVON, EVANS, and Trick Williams once again. So let's go ahead and dig into it. And before we start, make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel because we post daily wrestling content and you will love it 100%. I bet you if you subscribe for at least a week, you would automatically fall in love with this YouTube channel, so give it a chance. We start off the show with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending their women's tag team championships against Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. We know before Stand and Deliver on Saturday, we saw Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley defeat like 3 more tag teams to get this opportunity to face Liv and Raquel. We know that Becky and Lyra defeated Liv and Raquel at Mania, but then we know on Monday Night Raw last night, we obviously saw Liv and Raquel went on back. So now we saw an awesome match between these two. I think it really got eyes on the NXT women's division. I know that the tag team division in NXT is definitely not the greatest, but especially for the women. But we do know that they put on an absolute banger in this match. I loved it. I think that they put on a great show. We saw many near falls, but in the end we knew that Liv and Raquel was going to retain these championships. And in the end, that is exactly what happened. I'm super excited to see what's next for Liv and Raquel's reign as they are super dominant as a tag team. And I'm really excited to see what's next. I mean, who else are they going to face? I would love to see Maxine and Natalya to get back together and go after the titles. I think that Maxine is heavily underrated. But I do think that I feel like they're kind of stuck in a hard place here unless they bring a new little group to come try to take the titles off of Liv and Raquel. I don't see anybody right now who could take it off of them. Besides maybe, like, as I said, Maxine and Natalya, or maybe even B-Fab and Michin. I mean, like, just some of the younger people trying to get deeper into the business that could definitely take it away from Liv and Raquel. But overall, great match, and I think for sure Liv and Raquel has the women's tag team division on lock. Then we see earlier in the night, we know Lexis King is still looking for his Heritage Cup, and then we see the people that disappeared his Heritage Cup. They gave him his Heritage Cup back, and they said only if he defends it. So he goes out and he interrupts Ricky Saints, and Ricky Saints was kind of just giving a promo about him retaining his championship against Ethan Page at Stand and Deliver. But then Lexis King comes out. We get it announced that Lexis King and Ricky Saints will be next week. But before that, he comes out and we see who his mystery opponent is. I was really excited to see that it was NOAM DAR. We know that NOAM DAR is a big part about the NXT Heritage Cup. He is arguably one of the best Heritage Cup champions of all time. He's pretty much the only person that elevated this cup to a whole nother level. So it was good to see him win the Heritage Cup back from Lexis King. I'm super excited now because they put themselves in a bad spot. We obviously know Ricky and Lexis is facing next week, but we know that Ricky's going to win that match against Lexis, and I don't want to see Ricky with 2 championships or a championship and a cup. So I didn't want to see that, so I'm glad they took it off Alexis, and I'm glad that NOAM DAR is the new champion. He looks so good in the ring, and I'm super excited to see what they can do with his Heritage Cup reign. Earlier in the night, we see Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Jasmine Nix backstage with Thea Hill, and pretty much Jada Parker and Kalani Jordan both tell Thea Hill that like 6 months ago, whenever she left this locker room, it ain't the same now, and that things have gotten way more serious and way more technical. And then we see Jacy Jayne and Fallon Henley get into it a little bit, obviously advertising the heel turn that's eventually going to happen, or the face turn, I guess you could say. Everybody's wanting Jacy Jayne to turn on Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix, but honestly, I just think it needs to be Jasmine Nix. She's too good on her own, and I feel like for sure she can do the job. But for this match, really good match. Loved how Thea Hill picked up the victory in this match. I love it. I think for sure she needs to go on a run and win that championship from Sol Ruca, and maybe even go face Stephanie Vaquer. Love her in-ring work. I would be really excited to see Thea Hill versus Stephanie, but obviously we know she got a match in the main event, which was perfect, by the way. But this match was awesome too. I love the storytelling of this match. We know that Fallon and Thea, the energy versus just Fallon trying to shut down the energy was pretty cool, and they had some good in-ring moments, so I think this match was really good. We saw JEVON, EVANS, and Miles Bourne take on Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox, and man, I can't explain how good this match was. I mean, it was it was awesome. I love seeing JEVON and Miles Borne tagging together, and many people have been saying that Miles Borne is just like the young Randy Orton, which I can definitely see, but I think that the language barrier doesn't even get in the way. I think even though he has a lisp, it doesn't even get in the way. You can barely tell, but JEVON Evans, obviously great. These two together is chef's kiss, and I would love to see them together. We saw earlier in the night, we saw the preview of Charlie Dempsey and Tavion Heights being at GCW at Bloodsport and doing great things over there. But in the end, we did see Dark State win this match by a double powerbomb, which I thought was probably the best decision they could have done there. But I still want to get Miles Borne and JEVON Evans a couple of wins to get their momentum back up. And then we get to the main event. Stephanie McCare versus Roxanne Perez in an awesome match for the NXT Championship. Going into this match, I definitely didn't predict Roxanne to win the championship, and that is obviously not what happened, but I'm super excited to see Stephanie McCare keep her championship and keep this run going. There's a lot of new people she can face, and I'm super excited to see that Roxanne did get to have the shine in this match, but I'm kind of bummed out. I feel like they definitely could have had Bayley attack Roxanne, but obviously we know now that Bayley's injury was not legitimate, which I think is very weird, because why would you have let Becky take her spot at Mania? Doesn't make any sense, but the storytelling for that now is way better than it would have been with Bayley, so I am okay with it. But I still don't understand why Bayley didn't attack Roxanne, especially if Roxanne attacked Bayley. That was the first thing that was going through my head whenever Bayley got attacked, was Roxanne. Roxanne doesn't want any shine on Bayley. We know that a long time now. We've seen Roxanne hating on Bayley, and I feel like this would have been the perfect time for Bayley to attack Roxanne, but she didn't, and turns out, I guess Roxanne is not the one who attacked Bayley. Looks like they're kind of trying to keep Roxanne down in the NXT division still, which I think is very useless, but in the end, Stephanie did end up picking the victory up, and this was overall an awesome match. And after the match, we still kind of get to see the stare down between Julia, Stephanie McCare, and Jordynne Grace. Obviously, we're trying to build up that little triple threat. We know that Stephanie McCare did come out victorious at Stand and Deliver in that Fatal 4-Way match. So I'm excited to see what they're teasing here with these three people staring each other down. Super excited to see where that ends up. But Stephanie McCare definitely has a big target on her back right now. And I do want to talk about Oba Femi's promo earlier in the night. We saw Oba come out and give credit to JEVON Evans and saying that he underestimated JEVON Evans, and then he dates back to Trick and said he has absolutely no love for Trick Williams, and that's whenever Trick comes out and says that whenever people think of NXT, they don't think of they think of Trick Williams and not Oba Femi. But that's whenever Joe Hendry randomly comes out and tells Trick that he's going to tell him the truth. Joe says that he's going to tell Trick the truth, and he's going to say the thing that nobody else wants to say, and that is that instead of being hungry for the title, Trick is just entitled. And that kind of set off Trick. But that's when Joe said pretty much that the 5 minutes that he had at Mania was better than what Trick has done in his whole career, and that during those 5 minutes he had a match with Randy Orton, and Trick Williams was in the crowd. And that's when Joe said instead of wanting Trick Williams, he wants the NXT title. And that's when Oba tells Joe to not make the same decision that Moose did, and that is whenever they all got to brawling. But in the end, Joe Hendry and Oba Femi ended up standing tall and ended with a face down, which I thought was pretty cool. And I kind of want to see that one-on-one match. I feel like Joe Hendry actually has a good chance against Oba Femi, but he is a very dominant champion. Let me know what y'all think about that in the comments below. This NXT was absolutely insane. Really excited for next week's episode. We have a lot of good matches announced, and Ricky's next and Lexis King. Really excited to see the in-ring work that that's going to put out. But with that being said, I will see y'all boys in the next NXT Raw or even SmackDown review, and I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces.